Think back to those moments when they ignored your messages, took days or weeks to respond, or vanished without a word. That wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate message: you're not a priority. They didn't care then, and they don't care now. They're living their best life, a life that doesn't include you. The hardest pill to swallow. They didn't forget you. They chose to live without you. Let that sink in. They're thriving while you're stuck, hoping they'll miss you. But here's the reality. Silence only works if they care, and they don't. Society tells you that silence will make them miss you, but the truth is, they've already moved on. Your silence isn't shaking their world, it's only hurting you. Stop using silence as a tool to manipulate their emotions. Use it to heal yourself. True power isn't about making them feel anything. It's about reclaiming your dignity. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Your silence should be about self-respect, not mind games. You don't need them to miss you. You need to miss the version of yourself that didn't depend on their validation. Letting go is like releasing a rope you've been pulling alone. The tension disappears and the pain stops. Say it out loud: I'm done. You're done being small, done being an afterthought, done waiting for calls that never come. This isn't about making them miss you. It's about reclaiming your power. Now hit that like button and subscribe. Not because we're asking, but because you owe it to yourself. Share this message with others who need it. Let's rise together. This is just the beginning. The doubts will creep in, the past will try to pull you back, but stay strong. You're stepping into a new, untouchable version of yourself. No more chasing, begging, or waiting. Let's rise. 1. When they realize you're missing. When they notice you're gone, it's not out of love, it's inconvenience. They miss the comfort you provided, not you. They're not hurting because they lost you, they're panicking because they lost control. Your absence is their wake-up call, but their regret isn't your responsibility. Say it out loud: I'm never going back. Let's rise together. Think of it like this: you were their favorite jacket. They didn't care when they threw it on the floor, left it wrinkled, and forgot it existed. But now, on a cold, lonely day, they're searching for warmth, and suddenly, they miss that jacket. Not because they love it, but because they're uncomfortable without it. This isn't love, it's emptiness. Their life didn't get worse because you left. It just got less convenient. You were their backup plan, their safety net, and now you're gone. They're not hurting because they lost you. They're panicking because they lost control. As Epictetus said, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them. They're suffering because they assumed you'd always be there. You were predictable, reliable, and they never thought you'd leave. They lived comfortably with the belief that they could pick you back up whenever they wanted, like a book left unread on a dusty shelf. But now the shelf is empty. And here's the part they didn't see coming: you're not coming back. They'll send a text: hey, been thinking about you. They'll throw out casual messages like fishing lines, hoping you'll still be hooked. They'll act like they're checking in, pretending they care. But it's not love, it's control. Let me be very clear. If they truly cared, they wouldn't have let you break while they watched. They wouldn't have ignored your calls, dismissed your efforts, or made you feel like you were too much while you were trying your hardest. People who care don't gamble with your heart. So why now? Why do they notice when it's too late? Because your silence created something they can't stand: emptiness. They lost their comfort zone, their emotional safety net, the person who cared even when they didn't deserve it. But here's the twist: their realization is useless. By the time they wake up, you're already free. You've done the hard work. You've faced the silence, broken through the pain, and become someone they no longer recognize. And when they finally notice you're gone, don't be fooled. They're not coming back because they've changed. They haven't. They're coming back because you did. Because the old version of you, the one they could manipulate, guilt trip, and breadcrumb, is gone. As Rumi said, don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure. Your absence is their wake-up call, but their regret isn't your responsibility. Their emptiness isn't your problem. Their sudden realization means nothing. When they notice you're gone, let them notice. Let them live with the void they created by treating you like you were replaceable. Let them wrestle with regret while you thrive in the life you built without them. You're done waiting, done hoping, done needing validation from someone who only cared when it was too late. So say it out loud, I'm never going back. Drop it in the comments, not as a wish, but as a promise. Because when they finally notice, you'll be long gone. 2. The truth behind why they don't miss you. They don't miss you because they never valued you. You were convenient, a source of validation and comfort until something better came along. They didn't emotionally invest in you. You did. They're not lying awake at night haunted by memories of you. They've moved on without a second thought. Your silence isn't creating a void in their life. It's just making them uncomfortable. They'll only miss you when life hits them hard, but by then, you'll be long gone. Here's the brutal truth. People don't miss what they took for granted. They don't miss what they never respected. They only miss something when it's rare, when it's irreplaceable. And to them, you were neither. They didn't see your worth because they were never looking for it. They weren't searching for someone to cherish. They were searching for someone to use. Stop lying to yourself. Stop thinking your silence is creating some grand, aching void in their life. Stop imagining them lying awake at night, haunted by memories of you. They're not. They've moved on without a second thought, living life like you were never part of their story. Why? Because they never emotionally invested. You did. You built castles in your mind while they were just visiting for the weekend. You cared deeply, but they never truly connected. You were playing for keeps while they were just playing. Stop waiting for them to feel your absence. They won't. And even if they do one day, so what? Their regret isn't your reward. Their missing you won't fix the past. It won't erase the nights you spent crying, the messages you sent that went unanswered, the love you gave that was never returned. So what's next? You let it burn. Burn the idea that your love was wasted. It wasn't. You learned. Burn the hope that they'll ever wake up and realize what they lost. You rise. Burn the fantasy that their absence is a wound that needs healing. You heal yourself. Stop throwing bottles into an empty sea. Stop expecting closure from someone who's already forgotten you. Stop imagining a reunion that will never happen. They don't miss you, but you will miss yourself if you keep living like this. Say it out loud, I deserve better. Drop it in the comments, not as a wish, but as a declaration. Let today be the day you stop wishing for their regret and start living your truth. Let's rise together. 3. The impact of silence on your life. Silence isn't about them, it's about you. It's not a weapon to make them miss you. It's a tool to rebuild yourself. Silence creates clarity, strength, and self-respect. It forces you to confront the truth. Your worth doesn't depend on their recognition. Use silence to heal, not to manipulate. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. Silence creates freedom, but only if you let it. Stop fearing silence. See it as transformation. At first, silence feels like death, doesn't it? Like you're disappearing from their world. But that's because you're still seeing silence as punishment, as if being forgotten by them means you're nothing. But here's the shift. Silence isn't about being erased, it's about being reborn. It's the space where you finally stop begging for answers that will never come and start answering yourself. Silence creates clarity. It forces you to confront the uncomfortable reality you've been running from, that your worth never depended on someone else recognizing it, that being loved by them wasn't the prize. You are the prize. They just never deserved it. Think about this. Have you ever seen what happens when the noise dies down after a storm? The sky clears, the air sharpens, and everything feels more alive. That's what silence does for you. It clears the emotional clutter, sharpens your perspective, and brings you back to yourself. But only if you let it. Stop using silence as a trap, some desperate ploy to make them miss you. Use it as a mirror. Look at yourself. Look at what you tolerated, what you accepted, what you lost in the process of chasing someone who couldn't even bother to stay. Face it. Own it. Change it. Silence creates strength. It builds resilience, discipline, and emotional armor. Every day you stay silent, you reclaim a piece of yourself you thought you'd lost. Every unanswered message is a step back toward freedom. Every moment you don't break, you become stronger than the version of you who thought love meant chasing, begging, and settling for crumbs. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life, is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. They were always beyond your control, but you aren't. You control how much space they take up in your heart. You control how much more of your life you let them steal. Silence creates freedom, but only if you let it. Silence creates self-respect. It draws a line between who you were when you needed them and who you're becoming without them. Every time you choose silence, you're saying, "I refuse to chase someone who doesn't value me." You're showing yourself that you are enough without their validation, without their attention, without their approval. And guess what? Eventually they will notice, not because you played some clever game, but because they'll see the one thing they never expected, you moving on without them. They'll realize that the person they thought would always be there isn't waiting anymore. But by the time they notice, you won't care. They'll be looking for the old version of you, the one who waited, who hoped, who broke. But that person doesn't exist anymore. Silence has already built someone new, someone stronger, someone untouchable. So stop fearing silence. Stop seeing it as punishment. See it for what it truly is, transformation. It's the bridge from who you were with them to who you're meant to become without them. Don't break your silence. Break free. Say it out loud. I choose myself. Drop it in the comments, not as a wish, but as a declaration. Today, silence stops being your prison and becomes your power. 4. Create an empire, not illusions. Expectations are premeditated resentment. The higher you build them, the harder you fall. Stop expecting someone to fix your broken pieces. Build an empire where you reign over your own life. Your goals are the foundation. Your mindset is the fortress. Your resilience is the crown. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Stop waiting for permission to be great. You already are. Say it out loud. I build my empire. Let's rise together. Think of it like this. You're the architect of your life. Every decision, every action, every thought is a brick in the structure of your empire. If you build it on shaky foundations, like the expectation that someone else will complete you or make you happy, it will crumble. But if you build it on self-respect, self-love, and unshakable goals, it will stand tall, no matter what storms come your way. Stop waiting for someone to see your potential. See it yourself. Stop expecting closure. Give it to yourself. Stop expecting them to regret losing you. Make them irrelevant. There's power in creating a life so full, so rich with purpose, that even your past self wouldn't recognize you. Set unshakable goals. Define what success, love, and happiness look like on your terms, not based on what society says, but what you know in your soul. Create a non-negotiable standard. What you tolerate sets the tone for your life. Raise the bar. Anyone who can't meet it gets left behind, no exceptions. Invest in growth, not validation. Learn, improve, expand. Feed your mind and your soul, not your need for approval. The more you grow, the less you need anyone else's recognition. Be ruthlessly consistent. An empire isn't built overnight. It takes consistency. Show up for yourself every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Guard your energy like royal treasure. Not everyone deserves access to you. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Rewrite the story. You're not a victim of your past. You're the hero of your future. Act like it. No more excuses. No more waiting for someone else to change the ending. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Stop wanting people to act right. Stop wanting closure. Stop wanting someone to complete you. Complete yourself. The less you expect from others, the more power you gain over your life. You've spent long enough building sandcastles in other people's worlds, only to watch the tide of their indifference wash them away. Now it's time to build something permanent, unshakable, untouchable. When they see you again, they shouldn't recognize you. They shouldn't see the person who begged, who waited, who cried for their love. They should see a ruler, a conqueror of life, someone they can no longer reach because you're on another level now. Say it out loud. I build my empire. Drop it in the comments. Claim it. Live it. Own it. Let's rise together. 5. Turn into the storm they can't withstand. Stop being the quiet breeze they ignored. Become the storm they can't escape. The best revenge isn't making them miss you. It's making your old self unrecognizable. Build a life so powerful that even if they come back, they'll find no place in it. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Be relentless. Say it out loud. I am the storm. Let's rise together. Think of it like this. You've been the quiet breeze, hoping they'd notice you, hoping they'd care. But now it's time to become the storm. Fierce, unapologetic, and unstoppable. Storms don't wait for permission, they strike. They demand attention. They leave a mark. And that's exactly what you need to do. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into their small world. Stop holding back. Stop waiting for them to see your worth. Become the force they never saw coming. The best revenge isn't about making them miss you. It's about making your old self unrecognizable. Build a life so powerful, so full of purpose, that even if they come back, they'll find no place in it. They'll look for the person who begged, who waited, who cried, but that person is gone. In their place is someone stronger, someone untouchable. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Don't become bitter, become better. Your success, your growth, your happiness, those are the thunderclaps they'll hear long after you've moved on. And remember, storms don't apologize for being fierce, for shaking things up, for demanding change. Neither should you. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected. You're here to thrive. They can't weather the storm you're becoming because they never thought you could be this strong, this resilient, this unstoppable. They underestimated you, and now it's too late. So rise, build, conquer. Be the storm that shatters expectations and reclaims your life. Say it out loud. I am the storm. Drop it in the comments, not as a hope, but as a statement of fact. You're done being overlooked. You are the storm they can't weather. 6. Advancing with unbreakable strength. Breaking free is just the beginning. Staying free is the real challenge. Strength isn't about never breaking. It's about refusing to stay broken. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure, they built you. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Move forward like you own the ground you walk on. Say it out loud. I am unstoppable. Let's rise together. Think of it like this. You survived what was meant to destroy you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, they were all part of the process. They sharpened your edges, strengthened your resolve, and prepared you for what comes next. You're not a victim of your past. You're a product of your comeback. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world will throw storms your way. People will disappoint you. Life will knock you down. But your mind, your choices, your response, that's where your true power lies. So move forward like you own the ground you walk on, not because you're entitled, but because you've earned it. You've survived what others couldn't. You've endured what should have broken you. You've become someone unstoppable. And listen, there will be hard days. Days when the past comes creeping back in. Days when doubt whispers in your ear. Days when the urge to return to what's familiar feels overwhelming. But that's the test. That's the moment when strength is built, not when things are easy, but when you choose to push through the pain. Remember this. Every day you choose yourself, every time you refuse to settle, Every time you take a step forward, you're proving that you are stronger than your circumstances. You're unstoppable. So, stop living like you're waiting for something to happen. Make it happen. Stop waiting for permission to be great. You already are. Stop asking for the life you want. Start creating it. Say it out loud. I am unstoppable. Drop it in the comments, not as a wish, but as a promise to yourself. Because moving forward isn't just a possibility, it's your destiny. So this is it, the moment where talk ends and action begins. You've faced the truth, burned the past, and reclaimed your power. Now it's time to rise. No more waiting. No more hoping. No more living for someone else's recognition. You are the storm. You are unstoppable. Say it out loud. I'm done waiting. I choose me. Let's rise together.